County Pulse Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The County Pulse. Now let's get this thing started.
Hey, Coach. Welcome to this week's kind of pregame interview, looking at and previewing the Ripon College, Grinnell College football game. Of course, as always with us is head coach Jake Marshall. Man, it's great to have you with us again. We appreciate you taking the time, not just for me, but for people that tune in and watch, and for our parents that are a little bit farther away.
Absolutely. Always excited to talk Ripon College football.
There you go, man. Hey, so, Coach, before we dive into the upcoming game, just a brief reflection on last week's game. It was a little bit of a tough loss. How's the team responded to that and in preparations for this week? What do you see happening there?
Yeah, anytime you lose a game in general, but certainly, the opener when you've got really high expectations and ultimately a game that's it's a rivalry game for us. It's always tough to bounce back. Our message all week's been, we just got to focus on us and have great energy, right? Make sure we're working hard, trying to be 1% better. We've had good first 2 days of practice. I think, Tuesday and Wednesday were both good. Hopefully, have another good one tonight and, be ready to roll. But I've been happy with the response our guys have had, and back to work, and there's always more to do. So they've responded pretty positively.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good to hear, especially heading into this game. As you know, history is important for any program, and you've taken the reins of this program following being, I guess I would say, a long-time offensive coordinator. And then, of course, last year's success of being 9-1 and sharing the conference championship. How does it feel? Kind of, you're into your second week, right? You've been here for a while as a head coach, but how does it feel stepping in as the head coach? What are you seeing just in that brief 1 week that maybe you didn't see as offense coordinator? Is there anything different that you see? I know Coach Ernst was very good about including you and stuff, right, and having that transparency. Do you see anything different with this hat on?
I'll be really excited for next week when we're at home, so we're not worrying about buses and meals and all the behind the scenes stuff. But nothing major. I think it's the thought process is a little bit different, right? It's a little more universal and talking more with defense and special teams and everybody, just making sure we're all on the same page with what's going on and getting everybody together and moving forward in the same direction.
Yeah, and so. Given your experience at Ripon, and I think most people know this, but both as a player, you were a player here, right? And offensive coordinator. What personal touch do you provide or vision do you aim to add to this team heading into this game, but then for this season?
Yeah. I think, certainly we're lucky here between me, Coach Hepp, Coach Petkoff, Coach Luke, right? We've got a lot of guys on staff who played here and are going through some of those similar experiences, right? That our guys are going through. In terms of specific things, I don't know that I can necessarily pinpoint one. The big thing to me is it's always people before wins, right? And so with our freshman class, I think we brought in a really good group of young people, right? Just great humans who want to do it the right way. Our older guys understand that too, right? And that's not a huge shift from what Coach Ernst did, right? I think for us, it's just talking about that every single day, that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And so if you can't get to class, then you're probably not going to be a great football player. If you can't do a little extra studying for that test, right? You're going to do extra in the weight room, and probably put maybe a little more emphasis on that than Coach Ernst did, right? Not to say he didn't talk about that stuff or it was neglected, because it wasn't. I think we might talk about football a little bit less, if that makes sense. I don't know. We're not putting effort into it.
I think it does. I think it's especially important for those freshmen coming in, right? I thought freshman was a tough year for some of the guys, in particular for Grayson. I thought, better focus on stuff. I think kind of getting, it's kind of like thinking life. Sometimes I think man, I wish I could have a do-over. And you don't get that, but you kind of get that going through school. Not necessarily a do-over of the year, but kind of let me look at this from a different perspective and having a handle on because you're herding. Well, you got 96, 100 cats.
Yeah, 104 right now.
104. Okay, you got
There you
104
go.
cats. So I know that can be tough, but it certainly makes sense to me. Let's talk a little bit about the rivalry. Ripon and Grinnell have a rich history. I think it's dating back to like 1941, maybe.
Mhm.
These dates could be wrong. So if anybody's watching and says you're wrong, um, blame my wife. But you guys are leading the series. How does that historical rivalry play into the team's mentality and the preparation for the game?
Yeah, anytime I always enjoy these games that are kind of original Midwest Conference members, right? Just because of that history and that time going back. Historically, they haven't been a great program, right? They were really competitive, really up until I think, they won a championship in 90 or 91, somewhere in that window. And since then, they've kind of struggled a little bit, but we talk about a conference win's a conference win. It's really difficult to get one of those, regardless of who you're playing, and especially when you go on the road. It's a grass field, right? Which we practice on the grass, but you get used to turf, and it's a nice field, but it's still it's different for the guys, and ultimately it's our first overnight trip of the year. So we've got guys traveling who've never done an overnight, and just dealing with some of that, what that entails, right?
Yeah.
Staying in the hotel, eating some different food, getting up on a different schedule. And, so it's about managing that. And we've talked all week, it doesn't matter who we're playing. It could be Grinnell, it could be Alabama, but we got to focus on us this week. And so we haven't really spent, game plan and scouting and all that stuff of Grinnell, but most of the week's been, hey, what do we have to do to get better for that game?
Yeah, and just so you know, when you mentioned Alabama, Nick Saban, we're coming for you. No, but no, I get it. It doesn't matter who you're playing because you have to have that same mentality. You can't let off this
Right.
week and look at these guys any different than anybody else. Reflecting on last year's, I mean, it was a pretty resounding victory. I think it was 56-6 against Grinnell. What are some of the takeaways you think can be applied to this upcoming game?
Yeah, I think part of it is every day is different. You can't look at last year and necessarily get a great comparison. Just from this, like, I think they had, 18, 19 freshmen and sophomores starting last year. I think we talked about this kind of on the season preview. Like, they're going to be better. We watch them on film, and they're definitely better than they were last year. Just in terms of guys having experience. So they played a tight one week one. Not sure a whole lot about their opponent they played, right? Just in terms of quality, but they played a closer game than ultimately than we probably did, and so so they're going to have some guys who are battle tested and able to handle some of those situations that come up, and so we try not to compare a whole lot to last year. Both because they're a different team, but so are we. We had some great guys graduate, and we've got different guys in some roles. So again, just kind of comes back to making sure we're doing what we need to do on our end.
Yeah, yeah, and kind of following up on that, and talking about those changes with both teams. What do you think? If you had a look this week, I think at Grinnell, right, and what they're doing this year, what do you see Grinnell's strengths are, and how do you plan on countering that?
Yeah, offensively they've got a really athletic quarterback. He gave us some trouble last year just in terms of trying to bring him down. He gets loose in that pocket, and he can run, and he can hurt you if you're not containing him, and that kind of stuff. I think they got a couple of big dudes on the offensive line. They've got a receiver who's pretty quick, and so just making sure we're covering our bases. I think Coach Hep's done a really good job with the game plan this week, scouting wise, tendencies, that kind of stuff. Defensively, they're not huge up front in terms of their D line, but they're fast, right? And that's always a challenge when you look on paper and you say, wow, little D linemen, we should run over them, but they're quick. They create some issues because they can get to gaps fast and get some penetration. I think and ultimately, like, their kids play hard. I mean, They always have. There's no quitting in that group, and Coach Barnes does a good job over there of getting them ready to play. Whether or not there's a big talent discrepancy or what it looks like, but he's going to have them ready to go, and they'll be fired up. It's their home opener. I imagine they'll have a decent crowd there, and should be a cool atmosphere for it. But they're going to battle for 4 quarters, so we got to make sure we have that same mindset that every snap's a battle, and we got to make sure we win as many of those as we can.
Gotcha. So we're going to wrap up because I know we're going to try to keep these pre-games, post-games things fairly short. But a couple of questions, kind of lighthearted here. Let me ask you this question. If you could have any past Ripon player during your tenure or otherwise suit up for this game against Grinnell, who would it be and why?
Ooh,
you can't pick me because I didn't play. I know you want to, but
that's a hard one. I mean, anytime you can get a Cormac Madigan back, that would be great. Shoot. You shout out to Dylan Ross, right? He just got signed with the Iowa Barnstormers, right? Professional indoor football. He'd certainly be nice to get back. I probably think of a lot of guys. That's that's a tough one.
No, that's right. Let me ask you this question, and again, a fun question. I think you're prepared. What time do you leave in the morning for the game?
We leave tomorrow at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Okay. I know we talked about that, and I couldn't remember. I knew you're on the road. And we're trying to adjust things. I won't be there, unfortunately, but I think maybe afterwards, maybe on the bus, we can do a post-game talk since I'm not there.
Yeah.
We'll be on the road tomorrow, so that kind of adds a little bit of conflict there. But let me ask you this question. I mean, I want to test you here, and this is being graded. So I don't think you're going to get it right, but maybe I'm wrong. But you're going to have to start studying each week. Who wrote the Ripon College alma mater song, and what year did she write it? No cheating.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Not a chance at that one.
Not a chance. Clue. Okay. I just thought I'd throw that in. I didn't know either, but my craft team of researchers, me, it was Sarah Clyde Mitchell Morse who wrote the alma mater during her undergraduate year at Ripon College in 1900. See,
there you go. See, it's historic. 123 years old.
Now, one quick thing, we'll wrap up because it's been great talking with you. Name me 2 famous people that attended Ripon College.
Oh, piece of cake. Al Jarreau, Harrison Ford.
You got it, man. 2 top ones.
That one's easy.
That was easy.
We got to get some more famous people. They're getting old.
Well, I figure I throw the hard ones at you and then maybe ask an easy one. I may have
good. And with some credibility.
What's that?
And with some credibility.
Yeah, right. You're going to be in trouble. You didn't answer that one right. I figure probably some point I'll have you sing the school song. No, I won't. I'll wait for one of your assistants to do it. Like,
Coach nobody's going to listen to that one.
How about Coach Schmidt? We'll have him sing.
Give it a shot.
Well, so look, good luck this weekend. We'll be watching online. I know there'll be a lot of people there. Also, too, the parents know this. You put this up. You're going to be recording the JV games.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to get that live streamed for everybody this weekend, so it'll be good.
Yeah, that's always a great thing, especially for those new guys coming in and stuff. It's always great. So congratulations on that. So, man, it's been a pleasure talking with you real quick. We're really looking forward to the game Saturday. Keep the guys in line, keep them focused, right? And make sure they're hitting the books, right?
Always.
Well, bring home a victory for us, Coach. I won't keep you anymore. Listen, good luck today. Safe travels. Tomorrow, you have a kind of a nice walk-through stadium you're going to go through, right?
Yeah, we're gonna head over to Iowa and practice at Kinnick Stadium, right in the stadium. So that'll be a cool experience for the guys to get to be there and be in a Division I stadium for a walkthrough. It'll be a fun afternoon.
Well, and then we'll be back here soon. We don't know which game yet, but with our own stadium, right?
We're looking like the 16th will be at Ingles. That's kind of the getting there to be official. But the 30th will be first game in the new stadium, and then the grand opening, the big ceremony, is going to be October 21st.
Yeah, and that will be against Lake Forest, right?
Yeah, yep. So we need everybody at that one being crazy.
Yeah, that one will be crazy because they're a great opponent. They're always tough, and we like to beat up on Coach Cat and his guys if we can, right? So,
Absolutely.
well, listen, I won't keep you anymore, man. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck, and let's. I'll text and we'll get something together for a post game while you're on the bus or something.
Sounds like a plan to me. Looking forward to seeing everybody on Saturday.
Sounds good. Thanks, Coach. Bye bye.
Thanks, Jeff.